Hello, Internet. This is LordMaddog, and today I'm coming at you with another SOULSLIKE project tutorial. Last time we finished up with the build, and since the build is done, we pretty much only have one last thing to discuss, and that's bullet heaven area. Or bullet heaven, bullet heaven systems. So bullet heavens basically allow you to spawn tons of enemies at one time and give the player skills and abilities and different things as they kill enemies, and then they die. They basically reset and they go again. So it's kind of like a roguelike element, but it's kind of a newer roguelike system. Some people, they call them different things. I've always just called them bullet heaven. I don't know the other names. I've heard a couple other names, but that's what I'm going to call them. It's a bullet heaven. So it's like instead of a bullet hell, it's a reverse bullet hell. It's a bullet heaven. The player is the one who gets stronger, not the enemies. Okay. Well, enemies too get stronger too, but I mean the player just gets massively stronger. So you see here, I've already grabbed a bullet heaven thing, and I pulled the bullet heaven area out into the playfield. And right here, as you can see, I can position this bullet field area wherever I want. Basically, anything in this area, once the player enters, these visible walls will turn on and not allow the player to walk back out through them while he's still fighting. And enemies are still there. So we're going to go through each settings and exactly what they do and how to do and what to change if you're going to be using the bullet heaven system. So the first things we're going to talk about is spawning enemies. So you want to always have at least one up here. This here is your waves. So this is the name of the wave. You can have it multiple. I think you can only have it numbers. Actually, I was going to say you can name it different things, but I believe I've set it up so you can name it with numbers, and they should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They should be sequential. All right. So once you have you can add new things to here. Once you have this, you're going to go ahead and you're going to select your NPC. So like, say bullet heaven skeleton range. We're going to select its starting equipment. We don't have to, because if the NPCs you set up beforehand have everything already arranged as you need, that's good. You can select your class. You do need to select, no, most of these things are optional settings. You do need to set desired level though. I think that's the only thing you do have to do is desired level. And you don't have to do the name. You don't have to do any of these, but I'll go over each one that they do. It's basically like the spawning system. So, okay. So class is, I'll just read them here. So like pure endurance, mostly for testing purposes, basically has no attack. It's just complete total tank. Fighter, a balance between melee class with both endurance and strength. A knight, a melee class functioning on endurance but has some mana and has some strength. And it's just like each one of these. Berserk, all out DPS class, focus on strength completely and totally. Very easy to kill, but very deadly, the same thing. A magical slinging class that relies on powerful one-hit attacks and mostly intelligence. See, that's what they've got here. And you just go down the line and you select your class, and then once you have the class selected, you can, if you change class, you hit select yes. All right. Change name. This is what the name of the NPC will be. This doesn't really matter a lot. It's completely totally preferential. So icy shot, I might call it icy shot. I do that all the time. Icy shot. So something like that. Loot table. You can manually loot chains. What do you want them to loot? Since I don't want them to actually have any loot, I'm just going to hit that yes, and now they won't have any loot. Now change name. Since I changed the name, change class, I think I'll go ahead and have them being, let's go with fighters. And change class, change equipment. Starting equipment right up here. This is what they'll start with. Since I've already set up the NPC, now, you know what, let's go ahead and actually just do that. I'll start NPC. The only thing he needs is a archer. He's a ranged skeleton. Let's make sure that's it. So we need to get a bow. Here we are. Wood bow or recurve bow. I think I'm going to go with the wood bow. And we'll change equipment. Now the BHT is the behavior tree. Since the icy range have their own setup of BHT, I'm not going to change it. All right. Then after that, we have patrol points. This is where they're going to patrol inside the thing once they spawn. This is not necessary actually all that much. In fact, it's not necessary at all with the bullet heaven system, because the bullet heaven system automatically has them attack the player. Now, it is possible for you to have a big bullet heaven area, and then you want to find where my patrol points are at and drag them on the screen and put multiples in there, and you can put that in there. Okay, but it's not necessary. Because I don't think these guys are. Yes, you can select the type of patrol they have, or through here somewhere. Oh yeah, NPC size delay. No, nope. These are all automatically default patrol system, so you can't change that in the bullet heaven system here. Right? Anyway, so delaying to next enemy spawn. This is important. How many seconds do you want to the next wave of enemies? So let's say I have I have 3 of these archers spawned, and I should take the player, 5 seconds to kill them? If they don't kill them within that time, the next wave automatically spawns, which is fine because you can have multiple waves on the screen. You can even make this delay to enemy spawn 0 if you want. All right, NPC size. Just going to be a default size 1, but if you have you want to make one big enemy, and then you can actually go in here and change his level up some, or even add a starting equipment. You can go give him like a dev armor, which is like 200 extra health, or 200 extra mana, and 200 extra, whatever all that is. So if you want to do that, you can make him extra size, or make him basically a boss. Now, there are NPCs that are set as bosses. So you can select one of those, and I usually have one of them at the end of the area. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and talk. This is basically your NPC. These are your waves. You spawn them. You hit multiple. Oops. Cancel. I meant to hit extra wave. So right now I only have 1 wave. Now I have a second wave, and I would select the wave I want. I'm not going to set this all up because that'll take too much time, but basically you get the general purpose. I'll show you what a wave setup of the first one looks like. So this is my first bullet. No, that's my second bullet heaven area. This is my first bullet heaven area, and we see over here that I have 12 waves. Each one has different things. I think the first one was basically tank enemies. They're level 1 enemies, and there is number to spawn for the first one. Number 2 was a number of spawn of 2. I did that. Did I bet the next one was 3? Nope, number of spawn was 1. That's a mage, I think. Okay. A number 4. Yeah, 3. Yep. Okay, skeleton range is actually the melee, was actually the if I remember right, skeleton range is actually a magic one. You're going to have to name these things so you know exactly what they are. So I have 12 things, and here they have a boss at the end. So that's what that was like. Now we'll talk about desired XP, bullet heaven XP. This dictates the XP requirements. The only things you're going to want to change in here really is cost multiplier and level up cost. So this is how much XP it costs to cost up the first level, and then it has a cost multiplier. So if the first level costs 20, and then you have a 1.2 multiplier, or you can make a 2 times multiplier. I figure with bullet heavens, the more level up, the quicker the level up, the better. You just make more difficult enemies, so higher level enemies or whatnot, according to whatever you want. I find that bullet heavens that take a long time to level up are less fun. So you don't want to have too high of a cost multiplier, and you don't want to have too high of a level up cost to begin with. Now, difficulty level dictates the amount of XP the player earns afterwards. So if you're having him fight a whole bunch of high-level enemies, that you may not just want him to instantly get all that XP and whatnot. So over here, I have a higher difficulty level on my second one. If we come here, desired difficulty level of 10. So that reduces it down by so that starts that he has a negative 10 XP multiplier when he finishes the battle. He has a negative 10 multiplier to begin with, and he has to build up to be able to gain 10 to actually start really gaining a lot of XP. So that makes it so if you're fighting tons of enemy, that even if you like kill 5 of them and then you die and you don't get a whole bunch of XP for that, because I found that you would level up way too fast with a difficulty level of 0, and it would kind of negate the meta progression. Now you can change that according, obviously, if you want to change your level up system and your stats system, and you can change, if you want to change the player to have a multiplier XP multiplier for each level, you're going to want to change that. And that's actually probably something we'll go over later, not in this one tutorial, but I just realized it's probably a tutorial. I should go over stats in the tutorial. Okay, so with that said, the next one is shape select. This is where the enemies are going to spawn. This is where you're the exact area where you're enemies want you want the enemies to spawn. So in this case, I have it selected as the box, which means this is the start box. Here, this is where, no, that's not the start box. It's going to be the spawn box right here, the spawn box. See, this is where the enemies are going to spawn inside that spawn box. If I have it instead of selected is a sphere, it'll spawn within the sphere. So if we come over here, this one currently is spawning in a box area, but if I only wanted to like spawn in this area instead, I did this so you can have multiple kind of like different areas for your spawning area. If you're like just having a box wasn't always going to be the best, and not just having a sphere wasn't always going to be the best. So I made it so you could choose which one you want. So let's come back to here. So all the ones I'm currently using, I'm only using 2 actually, is just a box. But if you wanted to have a sphere, and then you would come in here, let's select this one, and I'll show you here. There we are. I would go ahead and select the sphere, spawn sphere. I want to scroll this up a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. And probably, because see, that's the problem with the sphere, is you cannot scale left and right. It scales the whole thing accordingly. You got to make the whole thing bigger. But anyway, so let's say I just wanted to spawn not in this box area, but in the sphere area. I would then come up here and I would select the sphere spawn. But I'm not going to do that. Okay, now Bullet Heaven Merchant. This is so the merchant that gets reset every time you go through the Bullet Heaven things, and he has new loots and different things. And if a player does specifically well, it's possible for him to have obtain new items that will automatically guaranteed to be displayed here. So you see here I have BH merchant, select Gideon merchant. So I came in here, and over here the merchant right here, I went ahead and I select this thing, and I select the merchant right there, Gideon. And you can obviously choose multiple different merchants for each of your Bullet Heavens if you want. You don't even have to have a merchant selected if you don't want. Okay, so and then here, these are the last ones we're going to talk about. These are going to be the skills and abilities and basically the selections that will happen while the player plays. So there's a percentage chance for each one of these for a chance for a player to get artifact, or a player to get skills, or a player to get stat selections. Okay, so if you go open up our Bullet Heaven component, and see if I can find it here. It's been a while since I've gone through this. So it should be on level up or something in here. I can't remember exactly how this works. It's been a long time since I did this. Here on Bullet Heaven XP, get Bullet Heaven XP. Nope, that's not going to be it. Skill. Well, you know what? I'm not going to update skill XP. No, these are. Can't remember exactly where it's at in here. You'll have to find it. Score selection. Here it is. Stat random selection. Magnet. Find reference. Find what uses this by name. What calls this? Here it is. Add selections. Here it is. Add selections. Nope, that's not it. Find what uses this by name, and then add selection. There it is. There it is. This is the chances of each one happening. So it checks if the player levels up, current XP, gets it. It'll play the sound. It will slow down the game, set global time speed to 0.001. You can make it 0 if you want. It opens the stat selection window, and then it has the chance of getting a different things. But have a higher chance, with higher luck, you get a higher chance of having an artifact selection. So that's what I have here. This is the selection pool from 0 to 100, 0 to 50, and it'll go through each one of these. I'm going to change this a tad bit because it is possible right now to have an infinite loop happen, and in infinite loop you automatically crash your game. I'm going to change that so if an infinite loop starts to happen, it'll count and it'll instantly just fill that with an empty blank. But that's going to take me a little bit of work to actually do, and I'm not messing with it right now because I've got other things I got to do. Okay, so this is your selections: add artifact selection, add stat selection, and add skill selection. So that's what I was saying here. These are your skills. These are the ones possible. You can just add them in here, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So this is the chance of that skill spawning. You want to try to keep these around 100%, so you know what is not 100 and what is 100%. So if you're having a couple hundred of these different type of skills, whatnot, you want to have a chance of each one being what it is. So I'll just go ahead and discuss this. So there's your chance, and then your skill info. This is the skill item. So basically, this is a rock throw, and obviously it's rock throw. The skill item, rock throw. Okay, spinning slash, ice spike, whatnot. I have all these selected in here. You can easily add a new skill just by following the example. And you want to make sure that the skills are going to work inside the game. So each one of these will have stuff like this. And then the other selection is artifacts. These the artifacts are going to spawn. It's pretty much the exact same setup as a skill setup. You're going to have your blueprint and the chances of it spawning. Now, the only one I think is going to be a little bit different is this one. So this is your BH stat selection. You're not really going to want to change these that much unless you're going to be adding new stats to the player that the player can level up, and I'll have to go over the stat system. So we can talk about that, but not right now. Okay, so like 1+1 selection that we already have. This is in every single one, the chance of getting a selection and a magnet. Every single one of them. But let's go ahead. So like strength up. Is there a strength up? Yeah, strength up. So obviously you have the image of the strength up, the chance of getting it, the stats to add on one, and description, strength stat. Oh, that's kind of obvious. Now, every single one of these stats has a chance of becoming a rare, epic, or legendary. So it's chances of you getting, instead of just one stat, you can get like, I think, is it +5? Or +4. It's been a while since I looked at it. It's either +5 or +4, the chances of that happening. And that is handled in here. So add stat selection. Just click on it, open it up. You select a stat, and then it will right here create the BH slot, stat selection, add child. I'm trying to remember exactly how this is calculated for rarity. Here, this is the rarity. So we have BH selection, random selection, the rarity, get rarity. This is the event for rarity. So if we get a rarity selection, the chances of being a poor, ordinary, rare, epic, or legendary. All right. So poor is just going to be a normal one, I think. Ordinary is going to be green. I set it up. So epic, legendary, ordinary. Yep. So return value. So value in, the multiplier is hit by the rarity. We see here, this is the rarity. This is going to also work for skills too. How many points you get in it. So chance, a multiplier of 1, a multiplier of 2, a multiplier of 3, a multiplier of 4, and a multiplier of 5. So you can get up to 5 stats. So you can also 5 stats, or if you're having a skill, 5 skill points. And you can obviously change this if you want. I don't really suggest that you change these ones. I mess with these a good bit. I think they're kind of fair. But yeah, you can change them if you want. It's totally fine. And then after that, let's come back out here and talk about, well, that's actually it. That's actually everything there is for setting up the Bullet Heaven system. It's always straightforward. I try to make it easy. Everything has comments on them as much as possible. The only thing that is not handled here is once you beat the Bullet Heaven, you have a score screen. Now, a score screen currently just shows a bunch of different stuff, and it tells you according to your skills, and then it gives you XP out. I'm not going to go over that. You would have to go over the blueprint yourself in it. The Bullet Heaven area, score screen. It is, I'd have to type over here, score. Score, here it is, scores. All right, so this shows you the score. Get score stats. Here, this is the score stats you're going to pipe out to it. The amount of kills, damage dealt, damage received, damage healed, and total XP received. So then it's going to put it out, your highest combo rating, which is also calculated. So, and then according to all of that, it'll, what just happened there? Okay, yeah. That didn't go back to like I thought it would. I think it's supposed to be here, yeah. So get score, it gets the current score of the Bullet Heaven thing, and then it'll set the visibility, it'll actually do the set up the whole UI setup. And that is actually everything there is for the Bullet Heaven system. It's a really simple system, pretty easy to understand. Makes it so you can spawn as many enemies as you want, or through as you want, and give them the amount of XP you want. All right, I have to go. LordMaddog signing off.